Join us today for our group thoughts on the current OGL situation as it currently stands. All right, welcome back to those of you who've been here before. Welcome to those of you who are new to the channel. As the little intro said, this is going to be talking about the OGL D&D situation. There's a whole bunch of other acronyms I can throw out there, but we're going to briefly explain some of them. As the last video indicated, Wizards of the Coast seems to have relented somewhat. They have basically said they're not going to pursue trying to revoke, deauthorize, whatever flowery language you want to try to use, the OGL, which was the document that was allowing people to make 3rd and 5th edition content without threat of being sued by Wizards of the Coast. Provided they followed, the rules that were laid out. But they're pretty broad. Basically, just don't steal our trademark stuff, essentially. And don't copy verbatim, unless it's in the SRD, which is another document, which I'm going to mention here in just a second, right now. So the other thing they did was they took the SRD, which I believe is the 5th edition SRD, a System Resource Document.
System Resource Document 5.1.
And they have made it, it's now under a Creative Commons license. In fact, as of the announcement, it was part of the Creative Commons license. So it's done. And that's a no take backsy kind of thing. Like once something is public like that, that's like, what is it when a book becomes public like that? I can't think of the phrase for it.
Open source? No.
No, same thing happens to movies. Anyway, it'll come to me here in a second, like 20 minutes from now, but public domain, that's what I'm trying to think of. It's very similar to that. It's still under a license, but it's a license anyone can use, essentially. Okay.
Essentially, it's the reason that Kindle can offer you what Charles Dickens or William Shakespeare or whatever.
Yes.
Nobody copyrighted that. It's just out there.
Right. A little minor side note on that. All the Sherlock Holmes stuff is now public domain in the United States as of Public Domain Day. There's actually a day of the year where the turnover happens. It's in January.
No one redid Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's.
Well, there's only so long after the author dies.
Oh,
and Disney hasn't re-upped it yet with Congress, so that was the last thing holding anything back. Most of the works were already public domain, but the Doyle estate argued that since some of it wasn't, clearly that's going to influence any movie you make, so give us some money. But now it's all out there here in the U.S. And
so how does that, like Tolkien?
Okay.
He has heirs that...
Yes, but it's after the author's death.
So doesn't matter who you pass the rights down to after 50 years after the author's dead, or however many years it is?
I think at the moment it's 80 years, but yes. That's how it works. And again, that's been extended several times because of Disney, and the argument is, well, they're a company and they own Mickey Mouse. The real argument is, here, Congress, money, help us out. But Congress at the moment doesn't seem like they're going to be going along with that, so we'll see what happens, because old Steamboat Willie is like approaching the time period. So apparently is Superman. So although the trick there is it's that version of it. So like Superman, like Action Comics #1 Superman. Like if it's not in that era, like you can't use it. So you can't be like, oh, I'm going to throw in Metallo. No, Metallo's not from there. So you got to wait a while longer on that. But it doesn't.
Metallo sounds like a marshmallow cream candy bar.
But it...
you get back on the OGL topic.
Yeah, I know. I was just going to say that essentially what it allows you to do is now, like, you could write stories with those versions of the characters and take off. You don't have to pay anyone any rights or anything. So that's basically as I understand it, but I am absolutely not a lawyer, and as far as I'm aware, neither of these two.
Nope.
So don't take any of this as legal advice. Definitely, like, see how things play out would be my advice, and possibly consult a lawyer. But...
An IP lawyer.
Yes, an IP lawyer. Yes.
Your local, I need to buy this piece of property over here, lawyer probably doesn't know what is going on with the OGL.
No, probably not.
OGL SRDCC.
Yeah. That's before we get into the ORC. So, so definitely consult someone before you make like a major financial decision based on this. But it would appear that the entirety of basically like the player's handbook, I believe, is in there. Which also, and this remains to be seen how this is going to play out, but a whole lot of terms that were trademarked by Wizards of the Coast are in there too. Which the prevailing opinion at the moment means that those terms are now no longer trademarked because they're in a publicly open document. So now the specific depictions of those creatures, because we're talking like beholders and things like that, the specific depictions are still owned by Wizards of the Coast because they can trademark, copyright the images and like elements of the stat blocks. So don't be like, oh, I can make beholders and literally just tear a page out, copy the artwork, and do the stat block. You will get sued. But if you're like, oh, here's my beholder that has these different ocular beams, from his eye stalks, and finagle the stats a bit, like, you're golden. So in theory, again, consult someone before you do that, but that's the way it looks.
Or just don't do that. That is an option too. I know. I'm just saying.
I'm not advocating you do that. This is you could do that kind of thing.
Right. Well, that's not even what I mean. I just mean from a purely theoretical perspective. Sure, it'd be great to. I saw one very prominent gaming journalist over the last month say that she couldn't wait to write trans vampire Strahd book. Yeah, great, go. Yeah. Write Strahd, write beholders, and do the things. Or if you're worried or don't know or can't afford an IP lawyer, then just don't.
Yeah. Those are your options. So that is the current major development. However, the counter movement became known as the ORC, originally spearheaded by Paizo, but very quickly followed by several other companies like Cobalt Press, Goodman Games, and a whole laundry list that I believe is over 1,500 companies now. And they essentially are going to try to make their own open gaming license, which is what OGL stands for, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that. Just in case you haven't seen any other video on this topic. So they're going to try to create their own, and they are also likewise going to give it over to a law firm who will try to give it to something like a Creative Commons or like whoever watches over Linux, because it's freeware. But someone essentially has to shepherd it. But it won't be Paizo. It'll be another entity at some point.
And it'll be shepherded like an irrevocable trust.
Yes. Non-profit, that's the word I was trying to find there. Because as I understand it, again, not a lawyer, but this is what I've deduced from various videos. Once something is in the hands of a non-profit, it is apparently quite difficult to get it in the hands of a non-profit. Because, like I say, a non-profit does break up. As I understand it, and I could be wrong, but this is what I've pieced together, it would appear that a non-profit has to buy up the pieces, not a for-profit company. So
that's the way I understand it.
So, like, once it's in the cycle, like, it's damn near impossible to get it out. So, and that's what we want. Because the whole point was, this way, Paizo can't screw with it. Because this whole thing started because of Hasbro trying to screw with theirs. So, that's the kind of thing we want to happen. And I'm glad that they're still moving forward with that, from what everyone has said. And, like, Cobalt Press is still moving forward with their new system. And, everyone is collectively still moving forward with their plans. Wizards of the Coast, they did, this is a nice gesture, I'm not going to say it's not. But also collectively, we can't forget what led us here.
I don't, maybe this is just semantics, but I don't think it was a nice gesture. I mean, they didn't do it because of anything nice or any kind of altruism.
They were forced into it.
Yeah, they they've put all of their collective future earnings eggs, Hasbro that is, not all, but a lot into their WotC basket. WotC tried to, do what they tried to do, monetize everything with the WotC is under monetized, they said. So they do all the things, which I still think they fully intend to do. Just now they're going to do it with everything moving forward and not mess with the 3.5 and the 5e. But with all of many of their eggs in a WotC basket, they got a pretty big movie coming out here pretty soon. That is pretty important to their brand and their business model right now, I think. Especially if they're going to try to follow that up with other movies and this show, the series that they also...
it's on Paramount Plus, streaming show.
Yeah. But what they announced, that's what they did. They announced it. So, you've got all these people that already showed that they would boycott your product by canceling their D&D Beyond subscriptions. And there was plenty of talk on the social medias about people not watching the movie. And I don't think that Hasbro could have that right now. I think that they need that movie to perform well. On the back end of Hasbro laying off, what was it, 1,000 people, 1,500 people?
Yeah.
And having their projected Q4 earnings come in well under projections because people weren't buying games this Christmas. Toys.
I was going to say, that's almost definitely the toy division.
Yeah.
Not the,
yeah. Well, they make all the board games too, right? Whatever. I don't know what Hasbro makes, but
yeah,
Monopoly and all that.
Games, yeah.
So those games and toys didn't perform as well over the holidays. So they've laid off what 10%, whatever it was, of their Hasbro workforce, and that means they're making a big investment in WotC. If not money wise, then fingers crossing wise. And so there's no way that they could allow this kerfuffle. I think the original plan was to bring it out now, let it roll. Hopefully it's all over with by the time next year comes around with the 50th anniversary and the
I think that's
and
still
the release
planned.
of what. Well, sure it is, but yeah, I just think they underestimated the community and how far they would go, and they couldn't risk that on this movie that's coming out. What, in a couple months, March or something, is it?
March, yeah.
So, yeah, that my point being, they didn't do a nice thing. They did what they had to do, and so they don't get any goodwill points from that, from me. I'll keep playing 5e, and I may even create some stuff for 5e, maybe, or at least 5e compatible, which I wouldn't even have done that before. I'll definitely watch the movie now, assuming nothing weird goes down between now and then. And I hope it's great. I've been waiting for a good D&D movie forever. And then the series coming up, all about it. And now, hopefully, I can watch it, so long as they don't do anything heinous between now and then.
We had a good D&D movie. Crawl the Conqueror.
Cull the Conqueror.
The Krull's a different thing.
Yeah.
Crawl's also a good movie.
Yeah. Well, I never watched Cull the Conqueror, and I'd argue over Krull being a good movie. It's an entertaining movie. I don't know if I call it a good movie.
For me, entertaining means good.
That's fair enough. I don't know. For whatever it's worth, I personally think that this would have been like, say they hadn't done this.
Like in the beginning of the month? Or
No. This last little gesture here.
Right.
Let's say you take everyone that canceled their D&D Beyond subscription, which I know I've heard 20,000, I've heard 40,000, somewhere in there. That's nothing to the movie. At $10 a ticket, it's $400,000.
Oh no, I get it.
That's why I think that the movie, to my mind, is trying to capture the Guardians of the Galaxy audience, and it's coming out in the dead time of the year. Like, it's set up to succeed. This is. I get what you're saying.
But I'm not just talking.
It helps if we go because we're going to get other people to go.
I'm not talking about our movie ticket or our popcorn. I'm talking about the social media barrage that would have happened.
Yeah, but who's going to care? Is what I'm saying. Like, if,
Well,
you, if,
but-
you don't, if you don't,
but I-
if you don't play D&D, you're gonna be
Well,
like,
well,
what are the
but-
fucking nerds going on?
No,
about?
I get it. But at the same time, that's a lot of bad publicity. And I also am of the mindset of there's no such thing as bad publicity, right? But at the same time, if for 3 whole months you've been on a train wreck of a bad publicity and
People been what's the Hogwarts game that's coming out?
Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah, that's sold tens of millions of copies, based on people just like shitting on J.K. Rowling. They're driving sales.
I get it. I understand. I'm just saying, I think it's just an opinion. I think that the only reason they did this, because otherwise, why would they have done it?
To just get it done, to just, probably shareholders bitching at them more than anything.
Well, right, exactly. But shareholders are bitching because they already see the effect of the D&D Beyond, of the DM's
it's
Guild.
probably from the D&D Beyond. Supposedly, that's what they care about. They're seeing that.
Well, no. They never said that's what they cared about. They said that was what they was using as a metric to track it. But they didn't say they cared about it necessarily.
I wouldn't track something I don't care about.
No, that's the only way they had. That's the only metric they had to use.
Well, okay, but I mean, it's got to be an important metric then, right? Because otherwise, they'd use book sales or something. That's got to be a big money maker. Is my point.
Well, I'm sure it is a big money maker. But like you said, what it was, 20,000 or 40,000 people that stopped it. I mean, that's small potatoes to them. Whereas, just seeing that, because book sales, but how many book sales would have you had that month, whether or not anything bad went down or not, and how much did it go down because?
Yeah, well, I'm sure someone can figure that out.
Well, I understand that. That's exactly my point. I mean, the D&D Beyond stuff is just right there in front of you. Yeah, whatever. That's opinions.
Considering part of their future plan was to push for their digital platform utilizing D&D Beyond. D&D Beyond subscriptions were an important metric for them.
I understand exactly what you're saying. What I'm saying is it's more than that. And not only that, they don't want D&D Beyond. The Chris Cow dude who's running this whole thing for WotC, the whole video portion of it, didn't want them to buy D&D Beyond. And he's still trying to kill it. He had already started, he comes from video game background, so he had already started their VTT program and that whole video game, that whole thing he already started. Then they bought D&D Beyond and he's been trying to do nothing but kill it ever since because he wants it gone so his thing can go. So I understand what you're saying, but that doesn't really track. And I understand what Bob's saying, and I don't disagree. I'm just saying that is a visible metric for them to look at right now.
Yeah, I don't argue with that.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's why they were using it, not because that was any more important to them than, well, I don't know, whatever. I'm just saying. I think that they were using that just because it was easy to track.
Yeah, it could be. I'm just saying. I think they might place more significance on it, but yeah, it could just be that. Yeah, that's for sure.
Right.
Since we're gonna go to the shareholder meetings, we don't know
For sure.
and I really don't want to. So
I would like to.
I wouldn't mind going.
Now, I'll bring in the Danish. So I'll fill up the coffee.
All right, you guys record it for me. Tell me how it goes.
Nope, you gotta be there. You're getting nothing.
Well, I've put in my time at Gen Con listening to Wizards of the Coast spokespeople. Why?
Is that not just a perfect snapshot of our relationship?
Yes.
You say, hey, do this for me. I say, yeah, I'm all in it. Chad is contrarian. That's such a perfect snapshot of what we have going on right here. We're like, oh, this one's too hot. Oh, this one's too cold. Oh, this one's just right. Except it's like just right and too hot and too cold or whatever.
It's all right, guys. Like it'd be boring if we were all the same.
Yep.
So.
Right. Well, we can't all be as pretty as Chad if that's what you're talking about.
That's true. They keep saying you are the prettiest.
It's the lack of hair.
Except
I've got lack of hair.
Except for one
You
particular.
got a beard though.
Except for one particular poster, but she didn't post it on there. She tells me that in person. So.
No, she tells you that too.
Oh, she's not going to like that.
Oh, I've never spoken to her.
She was
My response was not going to be that.
She was kind of hoping to meet you this weekend, too.
But I kept my mouth shut on that.
Because I thought for sure you guys met at Gen Con, but I forgot she showed up later.
After I was sick.
Yeah.
I got
for some reason
food poisoning, like, was it Saturday night?
Friday night.
Friday night. I got food poisoning Friday night. Not at Gen Con. I went off-site.
Yeah, I mean, you suspect the Waffle House, right?
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that, but yeah.
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 Well,
I went to take a shower at one of the fitness places that I had a membership to at the time. Yeah, no, really, I did. Yeah, on the way back, I thought, hey, I'm going to stop at Waffle House. And I can't remember what I got. You remember what I said I got?
I don't. Whenever we were talking, I was far more concerned with which one you went to because we were driving to one to go eat.
Yeah. Not the one in Green.
Not the one we went to, so. You know.
I just had everything downtown.
Yeah, you got a hotel, so you can stay downtown.
Yeah. Plan to this year as well.
I just can't justify $300 a night for a hotel. I just can't do that.
Oh, well, in that case, we need to talk right after this, so maybe. So that was their last move, and like I said, the ORC folks, they're moving forward with their stuff. Obviously, a lot of different opinions floating around. The general consensus I read from the other YouTubers is this is a victory of sorts. That seems to be that's the read I get anyway.
Yeah, so we got
but remaining vigilant.
They got what they asked for.
Yeah.
Right, which was not deauthorizing 1.0A of the OGL, which is what they wanted. That was the thing, right? Don't charge people 20% of their gross income from a project over $750,000.
Yeah. Oh well, I was gonna say we actually don't know what they're gonna do for 6th edition yet.
Well, we don't, but so that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So all of that stuff is a win in that anything that people have done for 5e or in the process of doing for 5e or now will do in the future for 5e is under the SRD 5.1 and the Creative Commons. Right?
Right.
Now, they will still come up with 1D&D or 6e or whatever you want to call it, and they will come out with a new OGL, a new SRD, and that will be what you will have to sign and use or whatever to use the new stuff.
Right.
But the old stuff, or stuff that you even make between now, stuff you make for whatever, that's 5e or 3.5 or 3, you're golden. So that is a win.
Yeah.
But they are still going to do what they're going to do. Chad mentioned earlier with the VTTs and stuff. And
yeah, I assume there's going to be shenanigans with the new thing.
Sure, but that's the new thing.
For me, the big thing was that they were trying to disable the old one while putting forth an objectively terrible new deal.
And saying, here, sign this in the next week.
Yeah.
And sign an NDA.
Yeah. So now, I mean, obviously everyone's going to be leery going in. They're going to read it. It's probably still going to be a bad deal, but now it's not do this or else. It's just do this or don't make content for 6th edition, which, depending on how things work out, you might not want to anyway.
That might be great.
You know?
And whatever. So this is something that I tweeted yesterday, or commented on a tweet, or tweeted myself, or something. But we're talking about the OGL, and they said, well, now their product has to compete with the products of the third-party people, which is reasonable, right? Anything they come out with new now. Yeah. If they want people to go to 1D&D, it has to be better than what people are putting out for 5e.
Right.
Well, also, that contract has to compete with the SRD that's in common.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't matter how good 1D&D is, or 6e, or whatever, if the contract sucks as bad as this last one they try to push through, then people are just going to ignore it and keep doing 5e stuff. So they have to up their game now, not only on the content, but also the contract has to be competitive. The terms have to be competitive.
Right. This is basically what happened with 4th edition. Like, I don't know what the terms were, but it was a different agreement from 3rd, and I know that was a big reason that no one signed it. Not no one, a handful of people did sign it. There was third-party content for 4th edition. but it was highly curated by Wizards of the Coast.
So I knew that there was a thing. I thought it was all just about the content. I had no idea that there was a licensing issue then too.
Yeah, because
until this all went down.
Yeah, because the OSR was just 3.5 and third. I think I don't know if it covers first and second or just 3.5 and third. I can look into that because I'm still not sure about the first and second edition stuff. If that's covered.
Well, I know it came up in what was like 2001, 2002, something like that.
Yeah.
So probably started with 3.
Yeah. But so 4th edition, it wasn't just the fact that the game was radically different. There was also the licensing thing. And a lot of companies were like, well, we can't meet these terms, or like, well, we haven't got the okay from Wizards of the Coast, so you're sticking with this. It's still selling, as Paizo is clearly demonstrating, so everyone just waited it out till 5th edition came along. So that might be what happens here too, depending on 6th edition, obviously. I mean, if it's Dynamite, I'm sure a handful of people, no matter how bad the contract is, will take a chance on it, and then we'll see if they get screwed or not.
Right,
but it won't be any of the big publishers. It'll be, I wouldn't think it would be any big publisher. You never know. Humans are terrible at predicting the future, so.
But you would think the bigger publishers with more cachet and more clout and more negotiating power,
plus their own systems at that point. Yeah.
With hence the more negotiating power.
Yeah.
Would get a better deal than us.
Yeah, they could try to get a separate deal because we all know that Critical Role has its own deal with them. I'm sure they can't talk about it, certain aspects of it. But everyone knows they have to have a separate deal. There's no way they went to Matthew Mercer and were like, hey, so...
we're going to take 20%.
Yeah, we're going to take 20%. And he'd be like, yeah, you can pound sand. We're going back to Pathfinder.
We're not even going to finish this campaign.
Yeah.
We're going one more to wrap this campaign up.
Yeah. And everyone does.
And then we're going back to Pathfinder or
something,
our own
something else. Yeah. Probably their own. Everyone's thinking they're making on their own system.
I thought that too, but I watched an interview that Linda Codega, who, shout out to Linda Codega, by the way.
She's been covered.
Wrote the original story on Gizmodo. What's the deal with Gizmodo and IO9? Is that different things? Is it?
I don't know.
Regardless, she's the one that wrote the first thing saying, "Hey, this is happening," and seems some of the people are mad about it. And then nuclear explosion happened, and she's still riding that wave, and this has probably made her career.
Yeah.
Not that this is going to be the highlight of her career, but this is
hell of a start.
Strapped a rocket to her and to them, and not her. They. Ugh. Because I keep forgetting. They got a rocket strapped to them and on their way to the stratosphere with their ability to see a story, go get the story, ramrod of movement, basically, and change the course of gaming history to some extent.
Yeah. So I know I personally have only come across 2 people online, literally 2, that were anti this whole movement. One I've told you about is the crazy person who I'm not going to mention.
I almost said the crazy person in the car, but that's kind of you too. So.
I'd like to believe
that's both of you.
I'd like to believe I'm a nominally sane person in the car. Thank you, but maybe not.
No, I don't know. Me. If you'll excuse my language, I'm about to curse. Earmuffs, kids. I'm batshit crazy, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
But. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to go into it. It's a whole thing. I'm not going to go into it. But the other was on a message board. He was even like, "Oh, the ORC is a bad idea." At first, I thought maybe it's the same dude, because it was the thoughts were lining up, except he was slightly more rational about it. Essentially, with
that just means it's not the other guy right there.
It could be, because his whole argument was essentially well, but their plans can't ever work, and I was like, that doesn't matter. If they want to do it, they're going to do it. What you and I think about it, because I agree, I don't think the plans will work. But that doesn't matter. If they're convinced they will do it. And just kept, Cheryl was this. I'm like, you don't understand. What we think does not matter. End of sentence. Done. Thought. Done. You know, it's
Lynn
like
Codega. Remind me to go back to that. I remember now what started me on that.
okay, well that's basically it. It's like I said, there's one person on message board, almost everyone else is essentially like, "Where's the coast in the wrong here? We got to fight this."
So Matt and his lovely bride Marissa Ray were on this here interview with the Linda Codega, and I'm sure beforehand she said, "Hey, these are things I want to ask you," but she asked them questions that people wanted to hear the answers to. You know, a lot of people weren't satisfied with their statement they put out about this whole OGL thing. You know, you stand up for the third party. Well, like Bobby said earlier, they got contracts and they can't say things that they want to say probably. But I thought that statement they put out lined out how they felt about it. We support all third party creators and whatever makes the place a better community as a whole. That's what to me, that says what they're trying to say, right? So in this interview, Lynn Codega asks them, you know, straight up, you got your own system going on, everybody else does right now, and he obfuscated it. I mean, if I was doing it and all this was going down, and they obviously know how to seize an opportunity,
Yeah,
I'd have said, "Yep, we're working on it. Still got this here campaign we got to finish up, but then look for it, Darrington Press."
yeah,
And it wasn't that, and it was you know, we might do that in the future. We got all this other stuff going on, and
yeah. I would say there's a slim chance even that might actually fall under like their contract. Like,
sure,
you know,
could be
because they probably not a non-compete clause, but a don't say you're going to compete clause kind of deal.
I hope they come out with their own system because
A lot of people seem to want them to.
right. I mean, they've got the demographic already sitting there. This critter campaign will buy anything that they decide to sell. You know what I mean? Especially if it's a good game. I mean,
Yeah.
so there is
it's
that.
a group of very creative people.
Very creative people, and yeah.
I was going to say, I was interested to hear the confirmation that as part of the second deal they have with Amazon, not just for the other series, but it included the right of first refusal for a film. Because we had kind of speculated that, you know, Hollywood being Hollywood, if the D&D movie succeeds, the other studios are like, what else is out there? And well, that's the logical either first or second choice, probably first, with Pathfinder being number 2, just because of name recognition. Whenever the intern does the Google search, that's what's going to come up.
Now I know that you're not a watching live play kind of dude, and honestly, neither am I. I've watched a lot of Critical Role, mostly season 2 or the campaign 2, the Mighty Nine, and all of the new ones. But when I say watch, a lot of them I listen to on podcasts. But just sitting down and watching people play Dungeons and Dragons for 3 or 4 hours, that's not something that, I mean, I can do on the regular. But that being said, I have watched a lot of them. And what got me started on this?
Possibly my statement that they either be the first or second choice, or we're talking about potential movies.
But regardless of how much of this you've watched, know that there is hours and hundreds of hours of already material there.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to write a script, which they have to do with their Legends of Vox Machinas and now their Mighty Nine animated series. But it's already there. All you got to do is adapt it. I mean, all the lore's already there. Mercer's built this whole world, Exandria, right? And I mean, it's easy pickings. It's like Marvel. I mean, or DC. It's already there. I mean, I know that they got more, and it's already in print.
Well, no, I meant more like those are literally storyboarded and still they like just change things willy nilly. But
Yep. Right, but my point is, it's already there. You already had your base
Right.
already there. You already got the lore already there. It's all there.
Yeah.
You change whatever you want to out of it, but it's all there. So yes, you know, Lord of the Rings led into, you know, Game of Thrones led into Explosion of Things, and here we go, and Critical Role, and their $11 million Kickstarter, and Wheel of Time, and The Rings of Power, and House of Dragons, and here we go. So, yay. And yeah, I think you're right. And I was happy to see that there are movie studios with that in mind, obviously.
yeah, yeah, For what it's worth, I literally just meant like I assumed that was part of the first contract. So to see that it was confirmed that yes, that is a part of the deal, I just find that interesting, to know that, because I would assume that whenever Amazon, like once it was obvious season 2 was going to happen, would have been like, hey, so obviously there's something here. Like, have you guys ever considered a movie?
Oh, I'm sure they talked about it, but I think
if you're like already working with one studio and things seem to be working, you're inclined to be like,
sure. Yeah. And not only that, but thanks for doing it, and everything is working, so let's keep doing it for sure.
Yeah,
100%. And I wouldn't think that there was any sort of deal done back a year ago or whatever, or 2 years ago, whenever they first purchased that first season, immediately bought a second season, and then just here within the last fall did they announce, here there's going to be a third season, and then just recently, the Mighty Nine separate animated series and the First Right Film Refusal.
Yeah. So Paizo, maybe you should call Hollywood.
Well, that was. I also saw some talk of Paizo and what got me on the whole. I don't watch live streams a lot. But there's another very popular one, Roll 20? Dimension 20, with Brendan Lee Mulligan and Abrea Iyengar, who have DM'd and been a part of different Critical Role casts. They've got several campaigns, several seasons of different things. I mean, all kinds of weird things like high school fantasy kind of stuff, and all kinds of weird shit.
All right.
So I was saying. I was seeing people saying, "Hey, if movie theaters are going to start making stuff about or movies about this and series about this, someone check out Dimension 20. Check out these campaigns." So I mean, I don't know. Maybe it becomes a thing.
Yeah, definitely could. Assuming the D&D movie is successful.
Right.
Yeah. So, which we'll have to see on that. But yes, thanks to these events, we will go see. So, Chad, any thoughts, conclusions, hopes, dreams?
Hopes, dreams, I don't know.
For this situation?
Oh, on this situation?
Yeah, not life in general.
I'm not going to renew my D&D Beyond subscription.
Okay, so in the interest of our current game, when does it expire?
Oh.
Okay.
Mine does in the summer.
All right. So for
mine might be the fall because I think I got it on a Black Friday deal.
Okay. So my DMing might take a sudden downturn at some point in the future. Because as much as I despise what the company did, like D&D Beyond is nice for building encounters.
Yes. Technically, all the books will still be there and everything. It's just you won't have the encounter builder.
Yeah.
He also won't have access to the books if he's not in an active campaign with you, and he can't be in an active campaign.
He has access to my account.
So he's going to turn on my D&D Beyond account?
Yeah, I gave you the login for it.
Well, right, but if you let the subscription lapse, then nobody will have access to it until it gets paid.
No, all the books are still available. I've paid for those individually.
Well, right, but you can't access them unless you can get on your account, right? And you can't.
My subscription is separate from my account. Your subscription gives you access to the ability to share stuff out, to the encounter builder,
right,
unlimited characters. But my account,
oh, so he can get
it just
your
means
account. Okay, I was going to say it won't do
Okay.
me any good, but Bobby
No.
can still get to it. All right. Yeah.
So,
So is that the case, huh?
yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
Which means I'm going to have to migrate all of my characters off there eventually.
Yeah. All right.
4,670.
I don't got that many. I got I don't know, less than 50.
Okay.
More than 20.
So what I need like approximately a 2 months warning on this.
Cool.
So
Here's your warning.
yeah, thanks. So can either wrap up the campaign or prepare for a radically different approach. So
I say we wrap up the campaign.
whichever is happening.
Start paying Pathfinder or another game entirely.
R3.5. You have all the books for those.
I have a metric ton of books for those. But as I learned the lesson from last time, we will not be using all those books if we ever go back to that.
Which ones?
We're going to use the core books, and I will allow everyone to take... Everyone can choose another book to take stuff from.
Wait, why not +2?
Because +1. That's enough. The game, you can break the game with what's in the core books, okay?
I know, you play Wizard.
Yes, pretty much. Like half.
And we know that's what your goal is every time, to break the game.
No, I don't like spellcasters.
Yeah, so I'm not worried there. It's more the like untouchable martial character, because that is possible in 3.5.
Well, let's
that's what I was going to do.
Let's stay forward facing.
Yeah.
If I mean, for the channel and everything here, I mean, would it make more sense to delve into 3.5 or Pathfinder? Or something else?
Well, I mean, based on like current trends on YouTube, Pathfinder 2nd Edition.
Right. But let's wait until then, or 2 months before then, and then we can make some sort of decision.
Or we start designing our own system, guys.
Well, we have already started that.
Like, you were there last Thursday.
That's not the system itself.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's a world we're starting to
I
design.
see what you're saying.
Oh, right, but the system goes along with that.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure.
Yeah, that's a later conversation for a much later video. But yes, I'm assuming we're still going to be covering like 5th edition stuff because it still affects us and it's still a thing.
Sure.
And
now we can.
And any big things that come up with 6th edition, like we'll mention it because it is news.
And we can because of this, because it's on video, not in print.
Yeah, and
also technically we're commentary, not.
Right.
So, and hey, maybe there is actually some good news out there somewhere for it. We don't know.
And maybe it is really fun to play.
Yeah. We'll try to judge it objectively. Just like, we're not going to stop 5th edition and go and burn all of our books just because, Hasbro managed to upset us here.
We might already started making the bonfire, though.
Well, actually, for whatever it's worth, guys, because I know there's at least one person on YouTube that it will drive them crazy, I've thought about going around like the secondhand stores and buying some player handbooks and torching them on video. And like putting all the tags that I know will draw him in, just to see the epic meltdown.
You're going to wreck? I mean, he's that.
No. He does other videos now. Like I'll show you here in a minute. Like not here, like on here, because like he's gone completely Looney Tunes.
Okay. Well, I saw the other day. You sent me a video that somebody else was making videos about him.
Oh, that one's an old one. Like there's other reaction videos. People figured out his game. That's why I don't understand by name. He intentionally mentions everyone else and tries to Sure. But no one. It's all negative. Like no one. Everyone's like, dude, you're a Fruit Loop, kind of stuff. But who knows the mind of the differently abled.
The mind of madness.
Yeah. So I think that's essentially where we stand on everything. Like. Hasbro is definitely we're keeping an eye on you. You're not in our good graces, but you're not completely on the shit list anymore.
And we are totally behind the Paizos and Colwell presses and
yes.
the other 1498 or whatever companies that are doing the orc and pushing the orc, and we're all about the Black Flag thing, and we're all about the PF2 stuff and all the things. And the third-party stuff.
Yeah, because we had already been talking about trying to branch out, at least just to see what's what. But now there's definitely going to be a greater impetus.
Which is a good point. I want to ask you all out there, if you're watching this is Battletech, so probably a lot of you are watching it, or more than what would the 60 that would watch at the end.
This video is D&D, though.
Oh, yeah. Should have done that on the other one. Regardless.
I'll put the Battletech tag in and maybe I'll draw some of them in.
Attaboy.
We mentioned
Battletech.
So.
Right. So
gaming the algorithm.
Yeah, that's the name of the game.
Hashtag everything. Can we develop a hashtag that just encompasses everything? Just like hashtag, exclamation point, question mark, and that's all of them? Anyways.
That's a good question.
It'd be hashtag asterisk. Okay. Asterisk multiple wild cards.
Yeah.
Okay. Comment below if you have a system that you like as much or better than the 5e system.
Yeah.
Is it Pathfinder? Is it Cipher System? Is it what is it? Old school OSR?
Yeah, and the OSR is actually like a constellation of systems, but anything in there,
Yeah, so just let us know what it is, because like we alluded to, there is system building going on here. And we'll be moving forward. So
yeah,
we want to know what y'all want too.
Yeah, and at the moment, we for sure have access to Dungeon Crawl Classics. We have the main Paizo 2nd edition rulebook. I'm looking to get whatever else we need for that, because I don't think it's all in there, even though it's a 600-page book.
Wait, you actually bought Pathfinder 2nd edition?
Yes.
Okay.
And the 3.5 books that Chad mentioned for earlier editions. I also have 4th edition stuff. Like, if one of you out there is like, hey, look at 4th edition, like, I've got the books for it. Like, I foolishly bought them. There were interesting lore things in there. This is a whole story with the miniatures game. It all made sense at the time. Looking back, not so much.
I have no clue what systems they use, but I have the Witcher RPG. I have the Judge Dredd RPG. I have Wrath and Glory.
Well, I
will be buying into Cubicle 7's other Warhammer 40k game they're coming out with.
I was going to say, I imagine they'll have their own systems, right? I mean, they might have another system, but it's probably...
Wrath and Glory is the D6 dice pool system. I don't know what the other two use.
Well, you have homework then. You need to just look at the directions long enough to figure that out and let us know.
Hang on. I know how to bring this back around. There's actually a BattleTech RPG also, folks.
Yes, we need to get into that. Look into it. I'm sure it'd be fun.
And if you are interested in that, you can watch the video that we filmed right before this one.
Yes.
It's probably going to be out on YouTube right before this one.
Yes, check out the BattleTech videos.
There's even Star Wars RPGs.
Yes.
And Star Trek.
Alien.
Yeah. Yeah, I just meant the ones that we specifically actually physically have access to right now. Just to be clear, if they want something else, we're going to look into it. But that's what we for sure can get into quickly.
Anyways, so.
Yeah.
I tend to collect RPGs for some reason.
No, I know. I've got board games I've never even opened. It happens.
For the record, the three, if I was going to buy 3 games right now, just knowing what I know now without doing the research that I want to do in the coming months before going to Gen Con, it would be Old School Appalachia, one of the Weird West Deadlands, or so one of those, and
Sci-fi or fantasy.
it's Hunter. But I don't.
World of Darkness. That encompasses all the Werewolf the Apocalypse,
the
Empire the Masquerade, the Hunter game, Changeling.
So I don't even know what that system is, but I read the synopsis of what the Hunter is about.
It's a percentile.
Oh, well, actually, I like the idea of percentile. I've never played it, but I think that in theory, I like the idea of the percentile. But
I think
the Hunter setting is, I think, very interesting.
It's a D10 dice pool.
I don't know what that means, but regardless, I don't care. I don't know what systems I like yet. The only one I know is...
He's saying likes the setting. So.
Yeah, like the setting. Like the idea of what's going on in the overall environment of the Hunter.
Well, that's what has me interested in the Old Gods of Appalachia one.
Right, that means
that's... Yeah.
I like the idea of mountain witches twisting up little viney voodoo dolls.
Mountain Witches and Moonshine.
Mountain Witches and Moonshine. And if that ain't the name of our RPG that we make out of it, then I don't know what is. That is it. Mountain Witches and Moonshine is the name. Chad Lee, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm filing trademark
Tomorrow. This video won't come out tomorrow, so we're good. Mountain Witches and Moonshine.
Wow. Yeah.
By the Appalachian Gods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's good. Yes. That's unfortunate. I'm used to being the one that comes up with the witty titles for things. Well done, Chad.
I have my moments of brilliance.
Absolutely.
There's usually a long time between them.
You shine on, you
Crazy Diamond.
That's the one, Crazy Diamond.
All right. So, yeah. So that's that's where everything stands. That's our thoughts. That's our rough future plans in relation to this. So, in other words, if nothing happens, in a couple months, probably look forward to a review of the D&D movie.
Yeah.
And the reason that this is important to this, the whole OGL thing is important to what we just got done discussing was, up until this point, I told them that, hey, I'm interested in this, Haunted West thing. I'm interested in this, Appalachian thing. But there was no plans to really start playing anything else. There wasn't no, well, if we shut this one down, let's do Pathfinder. There was none of that, It was all 5e all the time. We had talked about developing a game, but it was all about the world and the adventures that we were creating. It was, unquestionably, it was 5e. I mean, what else would it be? Or at least in my mind. I don't know how they thought about it. I'd have been perfectly happy if we did something else. But in my mind, it was, why would we do anything but 5e? 5e is the biggest game in the world right now, and why would we not want to be in that market?
Well, say in theory, we could now make at least an adaptation to it.
Sure. But that's now there's
now there's surety. So
now you have to look at this, like the whole deal with our videos. Do we want to make D&D videos and be a small fish in a very large oceanic pond, or we want to be a bigger fish in a smaller BattleTech pond? It's the same argument now. Do you want to make a game for the larger 5e community, or so that you can be lost in a sea of other games in the 5e community, or settings, or whatever? Or do you try to be more niche and have a smaller demographic, but a more focused demographic?
Yeah.
Those are all decisions that should be made way above my pay grade. But none of us get paid anything, so.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that's it. But
164 subscribers will not.
I have a day/night job, so I do get paid.
Well, sure, but we. All right. So, Chad, anything else? You good?
I got nothing else to say about it. Like, you guys covered everything. I gave what my plan is, which is just not renew my subscription. I'm not
That's
going
still
to go in and cancel it, because then I lose time I got left on it.
it's still action and commentary.
So
the folks want to hear this. So,
but yeah,
I don't have a paid subscription, so I got nothing to cancel.
for now, I'll just start transferring all my
I
characters over to paper.
apparently have his.
Well, the way it works is when you cancel your subscription, you don't turn it off right now. You just turn off the resubscribe. Yeah.
Cool.
The renewal. That's it.
Cool. So I might go do that later.
God,
But yeah,
there's like 5 things I got to shut off the renewal for if I keep renewing. But
transfer all my characters over to pen and paper. Well, pencil and paper. I do not make a
Theoretically-
character sheet and pen.
Well, there's apparently there's other like D&D Beyond kind of things out there that you can just.
There's a part of me that misses just having the character sheet right in front of me.
Sure. Me too, and I get that, and I agree wholeheartedly.
well, if we go back to if we try a number of these games, you're gonna get that feeling again, Chad.
But Bobby also was correct when he said it's just so handy.
It is.
I mean, especially for the encounter building, I'm sure. Not that I've done any encounters, but I'm sure. But just if you're trying to look through your spells, or trying to create a character and you're trying to look through all the things, or you're trying to flip back and see, okay, what happens when I do cunning action, or whatever it is.
Yeah, just looking up stuff about your character, magic items, spells, and such. It is so handy.
But not necessary at all.
But not necessary.
Yeah,
It
not
happened
necessary.
for 40 decades before D&D Beyond.
Yeah, I mean, we managed the absolute terrible 3.5 campaign using stuff across, I don't know,
3 or 4 different websites and
different websites, different books, PDFs here, there, everywhere. Like,
yeah,
it was a nightmare, but the game flowed smoothly. So
besides the fact that you, for some reason, decided to let us have
no.
Again.
I mean the game, such as it was, like it was a bad setup, and that's on me. I learned some lessons there. So
No level adjustments.
yeah, no. No. If somehow we wind up back at 3rd edition, what I'd dearly love to do, it's called I think it's E6. You can only level up to level 6. Okay, so you don't get into the super zany that gets later on in the game. I'm sorry.
What level 40 characters, Bobby?
We're never going to play long enough to hit level 40 characters.
We might if you level us up quickly.
I'm playing another campaign now. By the way, I just started, and so I'm like a puny, mushy, no level character. Playing with like 12 and 14 level characters, and it's just, I mean, they got like 120 hit points, and they're slinging spells, and they got like plus 11s on things, and I'm just sitting here. I'll use my sling. I got magic stone.
Yeah.
Oh, I only rolled a 22. I didn't hit. Okay.
I don't know. That is one of the things about 5th edition that because of the bounded accuracy, at least it's possible as low level characters to hit higher level characters.
Oh, sure.
Like in I did like in 3rd, you can encounter things that have like a 40 or a 50 armor class, and it could be like.
Sure.
And you can make a character that by 15 has that armor class.
To be clear, I'm not complaining about that at all. I'm enjoying the heck out of that campaign, and I love being in it. And I've only played 3 sessions, and I died once, but they I just unconscious. And then on the second time I played, I drew from the deck of many things.
Of course you did.
And got immediately shipped away to be imprisoned in some unknown place. And the deck of many things disappeared with me, which only one other person had a chance to pull out of it before that. So
you might have done the rest of the party.
Well, this arguably could go either way for sure. So he's still in a prison in a mine somewhere. We did find that out, but I did roll a new character to play for this last campaign or this last session. But yeah, so no complaints whatsoever. It's wonderful. Dude running is creative as all get out, and it's funny and fun, and it's a big group of happy family people, and it's great, and got no complaints. But I am a puny little mortal running with gods, and they're only like 12th and 14th level.
Well,
but the guy running it likes his players to have powerful characters.
Oh, sure, and they're more powerful than 12th and 14th level characters should be. I guarantee it. But that's all well and good. Your game, do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to be there. I'm just saying, I'm a fly on the wall. Although we are leveling very quickly. Of course, it's hard to level when you're sitting in a prison cell in a mine a couple hundred miles away.
They should give you experience points for interacting with the guards or something like. But that is one thing. Just on the off chance any of you out there listening don't know this, all the experience points don't have to come from combat. Like, just throwing that out there.
No, that as a matter of fact, did you say that out loud in front of him?
Oh, I sure did. That's
going to be an issue.
I never claimed to be a great DM.
You should watch some videos. I can recommend the channel.
I've claimed to be a moderate DM at best.
I've never heard you claim to be anything but a new GM.
There you go. New claim here, folks. I'm a somewhat okay DM.
To hit that point, the fella running the game that I'm in, he gave somebody experience points today just because he did something clever.
Yeah.
A clever solution to an issue. Hey, you get experience points for that. And yeah, we are approaching 1 hour on this video, Bob.
Yeah, we need to wrap this up. So yeah, that's everything stands where we stand. Give you a rough idea what to look forward to going forward. Like, we'll still do 5th edition stuff. Brad's already done a couple character creation things for Pathfinder 2. I just got to edit through the videos.
I got a couple more on my phone too, by the way. I just haven't said them yet because we didn't know if they were what we were looking for. I want Bob to have a chance to look at them during the editing process, and watch, because if he has it mine, he has to watch them all the way through.
Yeah, that's it's not a complaint, but it's a matter of like me sitting here filming this video. I know what happened in the video, so for the editor, like, I know if there's a big flub somewhere to watch for it or something, Whereas if one of these two were to send me a video and I wasn't there for, I had to pay a lot more attention, and unfortunately, whenever I try to do these, there's a lot of distractions around, so it takes a little while longer for me to do that. But that's a me problem, not a them problem. There is output being produced. It's me in the editing that's slowing it down.
That's not even what I meant, but fair. But what I'm saying is, before I just flood Bobby with a bunch of these, which I've done a bunch of these already, but rather than flooding with them, I want to have him be able to check it out thoroughly and make sure that it's what we want. Because it's just, I figured out how to screen capture on my phone. It's what most 6-year-old people learn in kindergarten nowadays, probably, but I just figured it out. And
yeah, we won't go into the technical things that we've like literally just figured out.
Or the technical things that we're still hoping to just figure out.
They've just learned how to tie shoes.
No, I don't know why. I'm just not very good at it.
No, well,
That's all right. Shoes I have on now don't even have proper laces.
my belly gets in the way now. I just tie them loose and stick my feet into them.
Yeah, I don't know. I have mine like permanently laced, so like.
Work shoes have a zipper on the side.
Well, there you go.
So they never get untied.
Did you finally fire the comfortable pair?
Yeah, they're wonderful.
Yeah, now without stating what it is that because of your job? Is that like a requirement, or is that just a thing that you found?
I wanted comfortable shoes for the job.
Okay, I was just curious.
There's a lot of boots nowadays have the zip up sides on them.
Yes.
Okay, so this is hour and 2 minutes, and
yeah,
peace out. Algorithm dance. Do the comments. Do the likings. Do the subscribings. Do the sharings. Definitely do the commenting.
Let us know what you think.
Yes, please,
and share it with your friends. I mean, it's not fair to keep all this pretty all to yourself.
That's right. The rest of the world needs to see it. So, folks.
Yes. The part right up here you can share, cut out like from here down.
Yeah. If you want to do that. Yeah. So, thanks for watching, hopefully. And everyone will see you later.